Discovery, go at throttle up.
All right, I'm back, dude. I have no idea why it took me so long to get going today. But, hey, we're here. All right, I got Kerbal loaded up. Let's roll. See if we can get some stuff done. James, how am I feeling? I'm all right, dude. I'm okay. I did nothing since I shut the stream off. I just sat in my backyard and just, yeah, hey, whatever. We're good now. You're going paraseed gazing tonight. Oh, hey, Casper, 33-month resub, and then Waz had a 24 before that. Feel better. That was from the other stream. So, yeah, sorry for the late start today, dudes. I'm just, you know, it took me a second to get going today. It does sound nice, though. I wish I had a backyard. Yeah. Hey, Newell, 21-month resub. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice, man. Too many weeds. Get rid of all the damn weeds. I didn't really even take a nap. I just sat there. And because I'm on the South Shore, if they're landing here, I'll show you. Where I am, guys, is on the approach for, not like directly over the approach. It's on approach for 3 different runways at Logan. So, you know you're old when. So if you look, right, there's these runways here. That one right there. So, and that one, that's 27 and that's 33, right? And then there's four left and 4 right. So those 4 runways, right, usually get planes flying over here. Like if there's planes coming in, like the planes don't usually fly over, unless they're going into 4, they fly over Providence, right? But if they're going into those runways that face west, they fly out here. They fly over my house, right? And then they go out over the bay and they circle in, right? So I guess the active must be that way, because I watched a bunch of planes go over and track them on ADSB because I'm a loser. Just did that until I was awake. I don't know, man. I'm not going to pretend like that's normal. I'm not going to pretend for a second like that is normal. That's not normal behavior. But it worked. So, you know, we're good. Having a backyard is nice, but the maintenance is a killer. Dude. Oh, it never ends. Casper, I have to take the weekends off. That's the only time when Bree and I can keep up with the damn yard. It's the most boomer stuff ever, but it's true. You have to, dude, you need a whole day. You need a whole day to clean my yard. It's It's 1 acre. I don't know if you guys do property in acres over there. I don't think you do. We're becoming old geezers. Oh, Casper, it's the freaking worst, man. You know what I did the other day? I was walking up here last week. I was walking up to my shop because my garage is in my backyard, right? My office. It's a separate metal building, right? It looks like a hangar, which is pretty sweet. And I was walking up on my grass, and we've had a little mini drought here, right? Yeah, we had a little mini drought, so the grass is dying. And I'm like, we could really use the rain here, boy. Soon EJ will turn into a NIMBY. See, that's the thing, Hell Hydra. I don't think I ever would, because if I could have my backyard... If I could have my backyard have like a high-speed rail line next to a drag strip, next to a runway, next to a rocket launch pad, I'd probably be okay with that. I'd be like, the house is rumbling, must be another rocket launching. I'd be cool with that. Yeah, I'd be cool with it. Oh, look at Mr. Body Bags over here. It takes a whole day, dude. You perpetuated this, Shaw. I don't know why you're complaining. You helped buy into that. The Yimby, yes, in my backyard. Can I have like a drag strip in my backyard? Like, you could... I'll just make a big concrete slab in my backyard. People just come do burnouts. I'm okay with that. Like, didn't you say you'd be back at 4? Yeah, I thought that's how much time it would have taken for me to wake up, but I'm good. I'm good, dude. You seem more like a Endink. Endink? Oh shit, my car burned out at EJ's confirmed. Yes. Actually, guys, you know what I was doing? You know what I did to unwind on my Sunday night? I found Modern Marvels on YouTube. Modern Marvels is all over YouTube, right? And he I think it's on, I'm pretty sure it was on their official channel, right? So I was reading about a pretty awesome piece of infrastructure near me, the Cape Cod Canal. That's the widest canal in the Northern Hemisphere. No, in North America, not the Northern Hemisphere, excuse me. That's the widest. It's a two-way canal. It's a canal that supports two-way traffic, which is pretty poggies. Think dual income, no kids. That's I mean, we are on paper, yeah, but that's not gonna stay like that. You read on YouTube? Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, there's not text on YouTube public. Hey, do me a favor and shut your mouth. Still not big enough to fit your mom. Are you serious? If you knew my mom, you probably wouldn't have said that, because she probably would have hit you by now. I was reading about this, so fished there many times, the jeans. Dude, this thing is super freaking cool, actually. It doesn't look like much, right? But believe it or not, the canal was privately funded. It was a private endeavor. Can you imagine that nowadays? A private piece of infrastructure like that? That's kind of a wild idea in today's world, don't you think? That's weird. Like a private highway or a private canal. That's bizarre, right? Yeah, right, Chief? He would, right? Is there a toll gate on the canal? No, it's actually the interesting thing. Okay, so here's the interesting thing here. I was watching this Modern Marvels, right? So over here in Massachusetts Bay, right? The tide has a delta of 9 feet or about 3 meters, okay? Over here in Buzzards Bay, right, the tide has a delta of 6 feet or about 3 meters. So you got a 3-foot difference or about a meter difference between high tide and low tide here, right? So the canal, right, it needed to be two-way because it needs to support two-way traffic, because anybody that lives up here, or even I would go so far as to say if anybody's over here or over here, you know the North Atlantic sucks. This body of water is angy. It's angy all the time, right? So the canal supports two-way traffic, right? But there's a double-edged sword to that. The reason why the canal is so freaking wide, dude, it's about 150 meters wide. We're talking almost 500 feet here. It is a gigantic honking canal. It's one of the widest in the world. No locks are needed despite the change in sea level and tides. The reason why it's wide was because of that tide differential. Because if you have a narrower canal, you're going to get an increased current. Some boats couldn't take the current and they would just run aground in the canal, right? It's interesting because it was a privately funded canal, right? And it was a one-way, and ships kept running aground because it was so narrow. And the guy who funded it eventually went bankrupt because ships kept crashing inside of his canal, right? And then in 1928, he sold it to the U.S. government, right? And then the Army Corps of Engineers came in and consulted with all the fishermen. They said, we need a wider canal. And then they went to MIT, and they had MIT build a scale model of this to test flow rates, simulated flow rate of current, and what the current delta would be throughout the day. 5 knots east, 5 knots west, 2 knots east, 2 knots west, right? It's super freaking cool. Like, I didn't realize that much went into building this stupid thing. It's like maybe like 2 miles. I think it's 1.7 miles. It's not that long of a canal, but it's a crazy piece of infrastructure. Yeah, dude, they had... So, Shaw, you can see it. It's on the Modern Marvels YouTube channel, right? It's about halfway through. They built, like, a 1/10 scale model at MIT to test flow rates in tide flow and stuff, which is super freaking cool, dude. There are no locks, Mayor. Their solution here was to not have locks and widen the canal, so the current speed would be under... like dead slow for most ships, so most ships can just make it up this canal. It's a super cool piece of infrastructure. I mean, dude, I was down here the other day, and I was Bree and I went on a road trip, and we took Titan for a walk up this walking path right here. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, I did it near the damn train bridge. It's me. It's me. I mean, obviously, right? So, this is a train lift bridge, and that center span is, what is it? I don't know, it's something crazy, but this is a lift bridge, and it was the longest lift bridge in the world for a long time. Guys, 500 meter canal, or 500 foot canal, 150 meter. Walking, ew, yeah, I know, right? I mean, obviously it's near the train track, so, right, we took Titan for a walk, right? And I was wondering, I'm like, you know, this is a wide freaking canal. What the heck did it take to make this damn thing? And it took a lot of work. That is no joke. That's a hell of a piece of engineering, and it's like right near my house. Is this Duluth? No, Core. This is the Cape Cod Canal in Massachusetts. I don't live far from this thing. I mean, if you guys ever have the pleasure of going to Cape Cod, it's really fun to go there in the summer. There's a lot of cool stuff to do. But you ever have the pleasure to see it, it's big. It's a big canal. You wouldn't expect this crazy piece of infrastructure here. But, yeah, beast mode. Also, there's a Space Force base right next to it. Space Force. All right. Guardians. After playing Workers, I can't look at infrastructure without thinking the sheer work that went into it. Red Fox, I'm the same way. It means cities gave me a great deal of respect for infrastructure. Workers just blows my mind. I'm like, how did we make this? Like, don't get me wrong, I know how we made it. Just a lot of dredging and a lot of time, right? But like, even a highway, dude, amount of effort that it takes to make that stupid thing, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely, it blows my mind to this day. Like, Don't get me wrong, I know it's just a highway. You drive down the road, it's like, okay, EJ, it's a highway. Shut the hell up. But dude, it took a lot of time, a lot of engineering to get that right. Any place that has a place called Sandwich must be okay. Sandwich is pretty cool. I have cousins that live in Sandwich. Sandwich is pretty cool. Yes, there are sandwiches there. What do you think, there wouldn't be? There's a great sandwich shop in Sandwich. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's a state park on it, Adrian's. Yeah, the Scusset River Inlet and Scusset Beach. Yeah, absolutely, man. They should rename it to Grinda. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, also in that Modern Marvels episode, everyone has a South Shore accent. Everyone. He's like, there was a guy they were talking to they were talking to a guy that maintains the bridge. He goes, yeah, we have 4 motors, 2 on each tower. The ones on the North Tower are named A and B. And guess what? The other ones on the South Tower, C and D. I know. Yeah. These motors make 200 horsepower, and they have cooling fans to make sure that they stay cool when they lift this freaking gigantic bridge up. I am not paraphrasing. That is not an exaggeration. The guy sounds exactly like that. It's really fun. Like, yes. Yes, my people. Pretty rad. So the USAF is scrambling to get Lockheed Martin to restart the line that makes C5 parts because they're having trouble finding them to keep those planes in the sky. No comment. No comment. I'm not saying nothing.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
I'm not saying nothing. You know what I'm going to say. I ain't saying nothing. Yeah, guys, they haven't made a C5 in like 50 years. Yeah, true that. They've just been upgrading. Just upgrading. Just upgrade it. Just upgrade it, bro. What is this, goalie? Pram 2 will become the first human spaceflight mission to fly over and explore the Earth's polar regions from orbit. I'm sorry? Prem 2 will be commanded by Chun Wang, an entrepreneur and adventurer from Malta. Malta. All right. Right on. Wang aims to use the mission to highlight the crew's exploration spirit, bringing a sense of wonder and curiosity to the larger public, and highlight how technology can help push the boundaries of exploration birthed through the mission's research. Malta. All right, okay. $425 to $450 over the polar regions. The crew will study green fragments and mauve ribbons. Continuous emissions comparable with the phenomenon known as Steve. Strong thermal emission velocity enhancement. Are you sure it's not Alan? Alan! Can crew handle a polar launch from here? Yeah, sure. I guess so. I mean, goalie, where else would it be? Where else would they be launching out of? I'm telling you, I've always said that Vandenberg could support that type of infrastructure if they had a crew access tower. I don't see any crew access tower at Vandenberg. However, Slick 6 has a fixed service structure. Just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there, dude. Did Vandenberg crew access arm is there. It's just invisible, and it's also make-believe. Would that be a high G load? No. Oh, Steve seems like a pretty cool guy. We'll talk more about that for space news. Reservoir of liquid water found deep in Martian rocks. All right. Let's make some progress on this, dudes. Thoughts on the secret military space shuttle still operational? Maybe that's why they haven't dismantled anything at Vandenberg.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
I'm gonna move on. Casey, 62-month reset. Make sure to install a second bathroom in that bad boy. It's all fun and games until the crappers clog. Crappers clog. Merry Christmas. It could happen. Mr. Public Servant, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent statement were you even close to anything that could be considered rational thought. Everyone in this stream is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, I'm just saying it could be a real thing. What are you talking about? What do you mean it could be a real thing? What do you mean? Don't you think somebody would notice? Don't you think somebody would notice this launching off? It's not like there's a whole city next to it. What shuttle are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, but the Kool-Aid is pretty tasty. How would you know? Oh, not you too, James. You know, the secret one. Oh, yeah, the secret one from Magical Fairyland. Look at me. I'm flying on a magic carpet here. Look at him flying around in Egypt land. But it could happen. Can I go back to talking about, like, the canal or something? Look, it's a secret shuttle. Having people know it kind of defeats the purpose. So you hide the launch. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of hard to hide that big glowing light that goes up into the sky. They dye the fuel black so you can see the flames. Les, I know that was a joke, but holy crap, did you make my head hurt. I'm going to go back to bed, guys. I'm going back to bed. I'm going back to bed, man. Maybe they haven't launched it yet. Think about the military capability of being able to take large enough payloads to space. I wouldn't give that up military-wise, and a good cover is saying we're ending the program. What program are you talking about? What are you talking about? The space shuttle? Are you talking about the X-37? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Rick? Oh man, you are making me so angry. Oh man. I mean, yeah, I guess public, but why would you do that? The Air Force doesn't care what it launches on. They don't. Half the missions they advertise. They're like, oh yeah, we're launching our SF-162 mission today, and everyone's like, what is that? And they're like, it enhances the warfighting career of merchants. Anyway, we're launching it today. Okay. USAF did put a lot into the shuttle. Okay. They put a lot into the shuttle. You're saying at the space shuttle. You're talking about the space shuttle. So the Air Force pulled out of the program in 1986 after Challenger. Okay. Which I still think was probably not the wisest decision. You kind of stiff NASA, which pisses me off, but hey, whatever. So why would they do that and invest billions of dollars into the Evolved Expendable Launch Vehicle program, which gave us Delta II, Atlas III, and then ultimately Delta IV and Atlas V? Why would they do that? Why would they spend bajillions of dollars? Spend bajillions of dollars on a cover-up and then retool the shuttle pad that they had? It's kind of hard to conceal a shuttle launch. Now, could you conceal, like, build a shuttle launch complex out in the middle of the Pacific testing range? Sure. Would anybody ever find it? No, probably not, but people would still see it. There's a bunch of planes flying out there that go up across the Pacific, and there's a bunch of boats that are out there too. It's really hard to hide an orbital launch. But look, man, what I'm gonna come back at you with might be not the best response from me. But look, government ain't that smart. Sorry, they're not that smart. You ever been to the DMV? Public servant? Sorry, that doesn't make any sense. They ain't that smart, dude. Come on. Anyway, I'm gonna work on my super secret mini shuttle now. Last for Spice News. Another space news if you don't want. You have it teed up. Okay. Oh yeah, Tim. Dude, I saw that. Touche. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Look, they can do some pretty cool stuff, but also they're running out of parts for their C5s. A plane that they said they're going to use for indefinitely, and they're running out of parts. Sorry. they look, they're good, but they're not that good. Be sure to hide all launches of Dart 2. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll do. Every time I go to the zoo, I think of that Zootopia scene. Oh, Jesus. Does your little shuttle have a payload area? No, Mike, this one was basically for crew. That was the idea. I mean, I could explore the concept of giving it a trunk, but it just doesn't. It's just not cricket, mate. I love that you called the DMV the zoo. Did I? Sorry. I mean, yeah. Actually, dudes, the DMV actually helped me a lot last time I was there, to be honest. I was doing a title transfer on the 97 one time. Yeah, and I know this kind of goes against my whole point that I just made. I was doing a title transfer on the 97 when I got it back to Massachusetts after Route 154, and I didn't sign the title transfer. And usually what they do is like, oh, you didn't fill out the paper, you got to go to the back of line and start over again. And the lady was like, hey, moron, you forgot to sign it. And I'm like, I gotta go to the back of the line, don't I? And she's like, here, give me a pen, and I signed it, and yeah, that was it. So they did help me last time, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Signed the title transfer. My name. It was a legal title transfer. But yeah, it was yeah, normally if you don't have your paperwork in order, they just send you to the back of the line. They're like, okay. Here you go. Here's your pen. This pen is yours. It was in your pocket. You're going to sign. You signed the title transfer 5 minutes ago, right? I'm like, oh yeah. And they're like, before you got in line, right? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay, here is your plates, sir. Thank you for filling out your paperwork correctly. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta go. Just Remo know about this. I told her and she didn't believe me. Did you give the pen back? I tried. And the lady was like, why are you giving me your pen, sir? I'm like, I gotta go. I'm like, I gotta leave. Okay. Yeah, got my plates. Your tax dollars paid for that pen, so technically it's yours. Yes. Correct. That's, yeah, right. Yeah. I just walked, I was like, thank you very much. And I walked out like, yeah, I did the papers right. I've never gotten any DMV paperwork wrong since then, because that was simultaneously a traumatizing and a very, very liberating experience. Same head bob and everything. Oh yeah. I got my plates, you know. All right. Anyway. We got the new, I started on the new Aeroshell, and I don't know. This is okay. We'd have to build it up a little bit more to get it right. Yeah, Aqualex. Yeah, acronyms are, government loves acronyms, you know? Flight hardware is in production for Neutron's reusable fairings. All right, let's go. The pen could have paid for secret shuttle missions. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I've thought about putting a trunk back here, but it might throw, a payload bay and dynamic mass might throw off the shape. This shape is really centered around having your fuel for your thrusters at the back of the vehicle, and having your propulsion at the back of the vehicle, similar to the actual space shuttle. And I don't think I can make a payload bay that shape even if I wanted to. This thing is really designed for crew. It's really designed to work in conjunction with a cargo fairing rocket. So think Falcon 9, what Falcon 9 is, Falcon 9 Cargo and Falcon 9 Dragon, right? Like, think about that, but instead of Dragon, it's a little shuttle that glides back to the runway. Yeah, that's the idea. So we did a lot of wind tunnel testing last week with the Kerbal Wind Tunnel mod, and we figured out that what we really need is to make a lot of drag at the front. Make a lot of drag and a lot of body lift at the front. So I decided to start looking into aeroshells. Making aeroshells for this thing and kind of going from there. I kind of originally made a profile line for where I want this to be, and then I started sculpting out an aeroshell, and it's not that. It didn't really do what I wanted there, interestingly enough. Let's jump in, start sculpting. We don't have a great deal of time before space news, but My only problem with this profile line is that it's starting to cross the hull right there, which is not really what I want. I was kind of thinking somewhere down here might be more applicable. I bent the metal back here. I don't know what it's meant to fly on. We could make it fly on whatever. Trunk would be disposable though. No, a reusable trunk that just keeps the back of this open. That would complicate integration though. Probably not going to do it. I've thought about it, but that was the gist of my statement. So don't read into it any more than it needs to be read into. I thought about it, but it doesn't really jive with this type of shape. We'd have to redesign the entire vehicle if we wanted some type of payload bay with this thing. So, no. Just take all the ideas that you had about a trunk, just throw them out the window. Throw them out the window, like the super secret shuttle. Here, let me twist this back. Yeah, exactly, Casper. Exactly. Just twist this back. Just want to see how that looks. It looks real nice until I screwed it up back here. Tessellate! What's up, Ren? Thank you for the bits. Do this. Bye-bye. Actually, you know what? Don't save. I gotta look at Collins.
Oh, this is space.
Casper,
I'm in space.
Gifted 3 subs. Oh, this is space. I am in space. Thank you. I'm just gonna look at the shuttle. How did I do this?
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, Fractal, tier 2, 81 months. Thank you very much. I see what's going on in here. Damn, is that hard to make? See that piece right there? Insanely difficult. Again. Hey, Alex, been a minute. Glad to see you. You're back to Kerbal. What are we doing? What are we doing, chef? Well, I am cooking you up some ratatouille, mon ami. Ratatouille, that is a peasant's dish. Hey, Alex, what's up, man? You remember Dart from Mission Mode? I'm trying to, make a better version of that, one that doesn't kill people. Trying to do that, because Dart's kind of unfinished business with our Mission Mode save. Remember the MM2 rule set save that I did in 2021? That killed Jeb, and then I tried to do the SSTO, and I burned out. Because that was insanely complicated and difficult. Yeah, remember that save? The save where I had a nervous breakdown and had to take a 6-month break from KSP? Yeah. Unfinished business, we'll call it. So I'm looking at Collins to get some kind of ideas on how to do it, because here, take a look. I'm looking to make a mini version. Here. That's the idea, at least. So... Hey, listeners, what's up? No engines? Oh, no. So, Alex, it's not finished. We're not even close to being done with this thing. By my own kind of admission. This is a very... We are very early in this thing's design, dude. Like, real early. The reason why... the reason why is because, and this is kind of what got me back in KSP. We have the wind tunnel, Kerbal Wind Tunnel. It's a mod where you can really go and validate aerodynamic models with different crafts, and then go and fly them to validate your aerodynamic model, which is pretty cool. It introduces a new kind of facet of testing, and frankly, I should have had this during mission mode. Yeah. Good idea. This is a great piece of equipment. Or a great mod. For this. But, so... I've used Wind Tunnel for years, so happy you discovered it. What's the design's pitch? It's a 6-person, 6 Kerbal low Earth orbit access vehicle. And what I'm working on is building out the shell for it. I'm going to use what we learned on that SSTO program. Casper, they're the best, man. Hang on, guys. I need a glass of water. You know that concept tungsten heat shield for Star Raker? It wasn't tungsten. It was titanium, Hellfish. The X-33, and it was kind of they kind of halfway proposed this for Star Raker. Star Raker was a slightly different design. The X-33 had a metallic tile set. You had titanium as your windward-facing element, and then you had a box of aluminum, an aluminum kind of box attached to the back of the tile, and there were cilia fibers inside of this box of aluminum. So the titanium tile acted as your in that kind of design, a good way to describe it would be that the titanium is your thermal paste, right? And the aluminum box full of cilia is your heat sink. Yeah, Dream Chaser ESA, yeah, Dream Chaser Hermes, HL20, X38, that kind of stuff, dude, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good, chat. That is very good. You're good, Hangman. I am good. Joke or Jester. I am very good. Jester was in the first one, you dork. Hey, it's Monday. Leave me alone. No, you have to be perfect always. Yeah. Don't remind me. I'm not sure if this thing being anhedral like this is going to screw with Kerbal, but... Let's see. Round 2. What's up, Rocket Guy? How you doing, buddy? Round 2. Fight. Is this Dart now? Is that a separate project? This, I learned a lot from Dart, from the wind tunnel testing from Dart for this project, dude. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that this could be derived from it. Left update. Started a job at Airbus OneWeb in Toulouse. Let's just say I am in good company when working in the lab. Nice, man. That's awesome. Congratulations. So this is Lawn Dart. This is Dort. Yeah. Dort. Yeah, this is Dort, guys. Oh, you stupid. It's Dort. Dort. Doit. We'll make the new shell based off of that. All right, let me get my calibrated triangle. And awesomeness. Doom awesomeness. Awesomeness. Awesome. Yes. So For our wind tunnel testing, we figured out that having a lot of deflection up here, we need to create a lot of body lift and a lot of regular lift. Body lift in the front, regular lift in the back for how we have our mass distribution set up. That's taking into account that basically our center of mass is right on this black stripe, right? Right there. That's where we need the COM to be, give or take, right? And based off of that, once again, we need to make something that makes a lot of body lift at high altitudes and a lot of drag at lower altitudes over the nose of this thing. And then we need to make a lot of lift on our center of mass, right? And not so much towards the back, but you get the idea. So once again, a hybrid aero shell, right, with panel tessellation and wing tessellation could get us what we're looking for here. That's really what I'm trying to go for here. And it starts with kind of sculpting something out. This is the part that's always the hardest hurdle to get over, because you don't know exactly what you need. It's kind of hard to visualize where all these triangles are going to live in 3D space, and no, we're not going to have that many. I'll probably end up cutting it off here. I just make a long strip of these things in a sub-assembly and use it. It's like starting with a sheet of metal and cutting out what you need, right? At this rate, Crew Dragon will end up doing 5 missions in a single year. Yeah. Oh, Alex, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome, man. Validation, yeah, Alex, yeah. The wind tunnel is so okay. The wind tunnel will tell us center of pressure, and it'll tell us actually tells you a lot of, because it tells you center of pressure, you can really see how the spacecraft handles. And when I jumped back into KSP, I was like, I want to fix Dart. I want to fix Dart. So we took out Dart and we did a lot of testing with it, and we did wind tunnel testing. And the wind tunnel testing exposed a huge problem with Dart's design. It likes to fly like this during re-entry. That's it. It likes to fly with its nose pointed at the ground. So,
Discovery,
actually, yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Why does it like to fly like that? Well, at the back of Dart, I had a fairing plate. And that fairing plate covered everything inside of the fuselage, and everything that fairing included in was applied onto the vehicle aerodynamically at the base of the plate. So we ended up having a really far back center of pressure, and that's why it basically wanted to keep the nose like this. Actually, it wanted to keep the nose basically prograde like a bullet almost. We made a ton of drag back here, so I redesigned regular Dart with 2 fairings. I have a backward facing fairing and a forward facing fairing to create a double aero shell here, right? And that moved my center of pressure where I needed it to be, but Dart's wings and frankly how Dart was all put together really didn't like having that like that. It called for we needed something heavier at the front that creates a lot of drag, that also creates a lot of upward deflection, a lot of body lift in the front. And because, you know, I had to make an aero shell for Dart, right? It basically wanted me to make an aero shell like Colin. So we tested it. We tested it with this model in the wind tunnel. Take a look. I did, Shaw. I saw the new mission. Yep. Yeah, prefabulated Amulite was actually prefabulated Emula Heavy. Yep. So check this out, man. We put this into the wind tunnel. There's my revised version of Dart I cut the front wings off and put that there, and that actually flies for our wind tunnel validation and testing. We used another version of Dart to make sure what the wind tunnel was telling us was right. So we know the wind tunnel, we verified the data, right? We know the wind tunnel isn't lying to us, right? And it's not like vessel orientation or, you know, weird occlusion or anything from the fairings, dude. Right? So I said, screw it. I cut the front wings of Dart off and put this on there and started running it. We did wind tunnel tests on this version of Dart, right? And it basically showed that it wants an arrow. The game really wants an arrow shell up there. This type of spacecraft with this type of shape is really looking for a blunt nose. Tell me something I don't know for lifting bodies, right? Really looking for a blunt nose. So I brought Dart back onto a master craft file, and I was like, well, that's going to require me to... We can't use that nose with this design, so I got to redesign the front a little bit. So why don't we redesign to have a pilot? Why don't we redesign Dart to have a pilot and a commander? And that got us this. I put it on a processing jig here that has rulers on it that took a bunch of dimensions. And I was like, okay, I got all the dimensions that I need. Let's bring this into its own craft file and start making its arrow shell. It's the HL10 all over again. It really is, yeah. The wind tunnel is a very potent tool in that regard. So I recommissioned the project, renamed the project HL40 because Dart was technically HL30, paying homage to HL10 and HL20. So there we are. I'm going to make an arrow shell for this. We're going to sculpt it out. I'm going to give it what I think it needs. And yeah, we're going to go from there. See what happens. Do you have this in the tabs for space news? I don't know, man. Man, I'm having a heck of a time here trying to focus on this, dude. I am having a heck of a time over here. Lofted post-flight demo from 5 hours ago. No, I don't have that, but we'll watch it. That's correct, Alex. Yep. Yeah, I did some modifications to Dart, learned a lot, did some more modifications to it, learned a lot, and did enough modifications to it where we needed to, well, rebaseline. So I changed my stakeholder expectations slightly because we had to do a new baseline, right? We have to make a new arrow shell. If we're gonna make a new arrow shell, might as well put the Mark II pod in there, make this thing a little bit bigger, and then actually shuttle this thing. So what I've been doing is I've been looking at Collins and how I made the arrow shell and the trade studies that I did to like make do the panel tessellation and stuff. And yeah, we're going from there. No, sorry. It's okay, Seacracker. Don't worry about it. I'm having a heck of a time focusing today. That's not on you. That's on me. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, I got a hat on my head. Just bear with me, dude. We'll get it right. One thing that I absolutely don't like about taking 2 days off in a row is that you get out of rhythm like that. I really don't like doing it, but sometimes got to. Damn house. Yeah, we'll look at that lofted demo in a little bit, Seacracken. But yeah, don't feel bad, dude. I'm still like, huh. So It ruined the top of my gazebo roof, Rem. Yeah. Looks like Frame 2's dragon will get a cupola similar to Inspiration 4. Cool. Jeez, Rem. My dad's place lost power for more than a week from that rain. Yeah, it just damaged my gazebo a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's nothing compared to what other people got. Yeah. It happens. That is a problem, Mr. Bond. How are we gonna blend that shape in? Yes, it'll fly good. What I did on Collins here was that I used a wing to blend the top of the edge. Will it blend is the real question, though. We gotta lower this. I don't like the yeah, there we go. That's more what I'm looking for right there. So once again, I'm making what's called an arrow shell. An arrow shell in aerospace engineering, in this particular case of this vehicle, means it's a Just aerodynamic shell that's shielding my fuselage. Aero shells are usually in this particular case, it's referring to the vehicle's thermal protection system. So thermals and I'm rambling. I'm building an aero shell to get Kerbal to understand how this vehicle to get Kerbal to make this vehicle fly correctly. When I say correctly, I'm basing it basically off of the space shuttle. I'm trying to get this thing to fly like the space shuttle in Kerbal. So take what the shuttle does in real life, make it miniature, translate that into Kerbal, and then make it fly like that in KSP. That takes a little bit of time and a little bit of concentration. I call them aero shells. It isn't necessarily what that means in real life. An aero shell, I guess, in real life would be some type of aerodynamic fairing that goes over the shell of a vehicle, right? That's not necessarily what I'm designing here, but that would be the closest approximation, which is why I keep calling it an aero shell. So, I can show you a picture of what like an aero shell for a different craft would look like in real life here. Where is it? There. There's an aero shell being made in real life on a vehicle that doesn't exist anymore, which is why this picture is public. Yeah, it could be a detachable casing, but yeah, they called the X-33, this thing on the X-33, they called it an aero shell too, Rocket Guy, interestingly enough. Dude, if they were making the skin for that damn thing. Yeah, it's called the shell. It's in one of the PDFs, but I mean, also at the same time, dude, I could be misremembering. Yeah, baby. Nice truck. Yeah, mass simulator test for the pad. I hope Sunday we can make it in Maya for KSP. Oh, yeah. Uh, 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay. I just needed to see something. All right, so try this. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 35, number 50. 50. Ooh. Okay. Okay. How well do you think VentureStar would have worked using Methalox instead of Hydrolox? It would have worked. 20. Yeah, that's what we're gonna have to do. All right, cut that piece right there for now. I'd be worrying about your mass fraction with Methylox, Aqualux. I'm not saying we couldn't do it nowadays. I'm pretty sure we could. I'd really be worried about mass fraction with methane. It's just too much mass. The only way that thing really goes together is with Hydrolox. That's the only way to really get it right. I mean, so what do I mean? If we just say, let's just go off the premise that X-33's tanks could just hold methane. They probably could, for what it's worth. Let's just say we put methane in there, right? And we have the XRS 2200 and it can run off methane, no problem. Building something like that at scale is not like, and say we had a 1-to-1 exact Venture Star, we just filled it up with methane, liquid oxygen. I don't think it would have enough. Yeah, I mean, it might. So you're making up a lot with characteristic energy in the initial phases of ascent. So the thing can get off the ground faster, it could get higher up in the air, higher up out of the atmosphere quicker, right? But the trade-off there is that you're not as efficient in the later stages of ascent here. So yeah, I'm not sure if it would work. I mean, Rocket Guy, it's an SSTO. Your mass fraction is butthole at it's terrible towards the latter phases of ascent, right? Maybe you could get away with it if you had some type of aero spike that, like a full flow stage combustion aero spike, like basically a linear aero spike Raptor or something. Maybe it's possible. But even then, you're just not getting the specific impulse that you need. You'd have a hard time getting into space to the point where your payload capacity would be totally diminished. Okay, Jacobs. Hey, Caffeine, 14-month resub, just tuned in. What are we building? I'm building a little small shuttle. And I'm building out its arrow shell. I did it again. All right, let's shore this thing up. Ready? 2. I'm not sure you could get there with methane, dude. You'd have to have some type of mass optimization somewhere else. Once again, the other thing is that I'm not saying it couldn't be done. The context of this conversation is that we're talking about Venture Star. I mean, off the top of my head, Aqualex, you'd need to do some, like I said, you'd need to do some mass optimization somewhere else. That's, yeah. Yeah, that's it. You would need to do mass optimization somewhere else. Because, you know, you're adding all that extra mass of propellants, and that makes it a little bit easier to use, right? And you're getting more energy in the first stage, but you got to remember, like, if you think about how a rocket ascends into space, the first 2 to 3 minutes are the first stage, and then the rest, if you take into account that it's like on average like an 8 to 9 minute ascent into orbit, like the first third of it is the first stage, right? So that's where you need all your energy, right? And then the second, third, and third, right, are all efficiency. Yeah, you would need something. I don't know what would do it with Methalox, but I'm not saying that you wouldn't be able to either. It would just be, yeah. Do you think Raptor would make any sense to still use it as a Falcon 9 upper stage? No. No. Don't do any radical design changes with Falcon 9. Just optimize from here. Optimize with what you have. That's basically what SpaceX should do. At least that's just my opinion. There's also trajectory optimization. Yeah, but using, in my opinion, using a trajectory optimization to overcome the fact that you have a terrible mass fraction, it really depends, right? You can only do that in certain scenarios. What are we trying to make? We're trying to make a vehicle that goes to the same orbit every time? Or is it something that's going to launch to different destinations? Polar, high inclinations, LEO, like a low, not LEO, low inclination orbit. Are we going to LEO? Are we going to MEO? It really depends. That's the last half of what I said. I didn't, but that's fine. Thoughts on blending the wing into more of a lifting body shape like the CEB concept? So with relatively flat sides. Yeah. Yeah, we could do something like that. So why are you talking about how to... All right. It's space news time. All right. Dude, you're making this way too difficult right now. I'll be back. Give me like 10 minutes. I'll see you for space news.